Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today, I will tell you a faster way on how to apply for student visa through Student Direct Stream here in Canada. The Student Direct Stream is a program of Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, that if you live in China, India, Morocco, Pakistan, Philippines, Senegal or Vietnam, you may be able to get your study permit faster. If everything goes well with your application, processing time is as fast as 20 calendar days. To get faster processing time, you must give your biometrics as soon as possible. And you must meet all the eligibility requirements. Take note that a study permit is not a visa and does not, by itself, allow you to travel to or enter Canada. You may also need a visitor visa, or an electronic travel authorization, also known as ETA. If you do, don't worry because IRCC will issue your visitor visa, or ETA, with your study permit. Next, who can apply? To be eligible for faster processing through the Student Direct Stream, you must be a legal resident living in one of these following countries. You also must have an acceptance letter from a post-secondary designated learning institution. Live outside of Canada when you apply. Have proof you have paid your tuition for your first year of study. Have a guaranteed investment certificate, or GIC, of 10,000 Canadian dollars. I will discuss more about GIC later in this video. You also must have a Quebec Acceptance Certificate, Certificat d'Acceptation du Québec, or CAQ, from the Ministère de l'Immigration, de la Francisation, et de l'Intégration. This is only if you're planning to study in Quebec. Get a medical exam before you apply, if you need one. Get a police certificate before you apply, if you need one. Have your most recent secondary or post-secondary school transcripts. Have a language test result that shows a score of 6.0 or higher in each skill on reading, writing, speaking and listening on the International English Language Testing System, or IELTS. If you're applying to study in Quebec, you need a test d'evaluation de français, or TEF, score that is equal to a Canadian Language Benchmark, or CLB, score of at least 7 in each skill on a reading, writing, speaking and listening. Depending on where you're applying from, you may also need to provide other documents. Make sure you include all the documents required by the visa office that processes your application. I will put the link of where you can find these documents on the description below. IRCC may ask you to give additional documents to support your application. In this situation, your application will take longer to process. Who isn't eligible for the Student Direct Stream? If you live anywhere other than one of the countries listed above, even if you're a citizen of one of the countries above, you must apply through the regular study permit application process. Or if you live in another country, even if you're a citizen of one of the countries above, or if you don't meet the eligibility for faster processing, you may still be eligible for a study permit through the regular study permit application process. Proof of full payment of tuition for the applicant's first year of study. This may be in the form of the following: a receipt from the designated learning institution, or DLI. An official letter from the DLI confirming payment of tuition fees. A receipt from a bank showing that tuition fees have been paid to the DLI. Proof that the tuition fee amount has been transferred into a repository account at the DLI to be applied to the tuition bill at a later date. Guaranteed Investment Certificate, or GIC. A GIC is a Canadian investment that has a guaranteed rate of return for a fixed period of time. Many banks offer GICs. The bank that gives you the GIC must confirm that you bought a GIC by giving you one of the following: a letter of attestation, a GIC certificate, an investment directions confirmation, or an investment balance confirmation. Hold the GIC in an investment account or a student account that you can't access until you arrive in Canada. Make you confirm your identity before they release any funds to you. Release the funds to you by providing an initial lump sum once you identify yourself upon arrival in Canada. The remainder of the funds in monthly or bi-monthly installments over 10 to 12 months. If your bank or GIC doesn't meet these criteria, you won't be able to apply through the student direct stream. You can get a GIC from a financial institution listed on the Canadian Deposit Insurance Company website. I will put the link of this in description below. Make sure the financial institution you choose offers a GIC and meets the criteria for the student direct stream. The following financial institutions offer GICs that meet the criteria: Bank of Beijing, Bank of China, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Xi'an Company Limited, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce or CIBC, Desjardins, Habib Canadian Bank, HSBC Bank of Canada, IRCC Bank, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, RBC Royal Bank, SBI Canada Bank, and Scotiabank. Medical exams and police certificates. Depending on where you're applying from, you may need to get a medical exam or police certificate. To get faster processing through the student direct stream, you must include these with your application, if you need them. If you don't include them, IRCC won't process your application faster. Who needs a medical exam? You may need to get a medical exam if you lived or traveled in certain countries or territories for 6 or more months in the year before you come to Canada, or you plan on studying or working in the health field, primary or secondary education, or child or elder care. To get a medical exam, you must see a doctor that has been approved by IRCC. I will also put the link of this in the description below. Who needs a police certificate? Your visa office instructions will tell you if you need to get a police certificate. You'll find these instructions when you select your country of residence below. Make sure you read these instructions before you apply, so you know if you need a police certificate or any other documents to apply. Bring your spouse or partner and children with you to Canada. Your spouse or common law partner and dependent children may also be able to get faster processing on a visitor visa, work permit, or study permit. You must complete and submit their applications at the same time as your own. If you don't, IRCC will not process their applications faster. When you apply online, indicate that you have family members coming with you to Canada. This lets you complete their applications with yours. Next, how to apply. You must apply online to get faster processing for your study permit. There's no paper application for the student direct stream. Make sure you include all the required documents with your application. Before you apply online, make sure you have the following: instruction guide to fill out your forms, scanner or camera to create electronic copies of your documents, valid credit or debit card to make a payment. If you need help with providing your biometrics or sending IRCC your passport, you can visit the nearest visa application center in your area, or you can get instructions to apply online. I will put a link for this in the description below. Next, after you apply, you need to give your fingerprints and photo, also known as biometrics. Once you pay your fees, including your biometrics fee, and submit your application, IRCC will send you a letter that says you need to give your biometrics, if you need to. The letter will tell you how and where to do this. You need to bring this letter when you give your biometrics. You also need to bring your valid passport. You have up to 30 days to give your biometrics in person. If you didn't pay the biometrics fee, IRCC will send you a letter asking you to do this first. You can only get the instruction letter if you pay the biometrics fee. Once IRCC receive your biometrics, they will be able to process your study permit application. IRCC process most student direct stream applications within 20 calendar days after they receive your biometrics, if you meet the eligibility. If your application doesn't meet the eligibility for the student direct stream, IRCC will review it as a regular study permit. You won't get faster processing if this happens. If IRCC approve your application, they will send you letter of introduction. This isn't your study permit. You need to show this letter to the officer when you arrive in Canada. They will also send you an electronic travel authorization, or ETA, or a visitor visa, depending on which you need to enter Canada. If you need an ETA, your letter of introduction will have information about it. Your ETA will be electronically linked to your passport and will be valid for 5 years or until your passport expires, whichever comes first. Make sure you travel with the passport you used to apply. If you need a visitor visa, IRCC will ask you to send your passport to the nearest visa office so they can attach your visa to it. Your visa will be in your passport and will show if you can enter Canada once or multiple times. You must enter Canada before your visa expires. Arriving to Canada. When you arrive at the port of entry, an officer will make sure you meet the requirements to enter Canada. If there are no problems, the officer will then print your study permit and give it to you. Make sure you have all the documents you need to enter Canada with you. Your study permit is normally valid until the end of your school program. If your passport expires before the end of your study program, your permit will only be valid until your passport expiry date. If this happens, you'll need to apply to extend your study permit once you have a new passport. If you have questions or there's a mistake on your study permit, ask the officer before you leave. That's all for now. I hope this video will help you to achieve your goal to study in Canada. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.